Arto Lauri overcome Menieres disease.
Menieren tauti.
That Menieres disease is a really disgusting disease about it, that it takes away our main senses from people. I read in that articles, where Menieres disease has destroyed both ears and humans. It is said, an ear degeneration disease. Typical such, especially a disease that accentuates parents in old age. In fact, it takes a lot of people to hear from people. At least counts in lower it, and so on. Perhaps the most disgusting thing about this is that nothing looking medical, no help is given for it. The only thing I've got, so are such beta-circ drugs, which reportedly slightly increase the inner ear blood circulation, and a little help with that situation. I eat a witch every day that yes, it helps so much. But that disease is progressive and it can now hold nothing at all. It's creepy in that sense. I already have such a serious degree. I do not speak this matter, as they say, on the loosest grounds. I am often told, why are you talking about things you know nothing about? I have already lost my second ear to Menieres disease, my right ear, and at some point this also started to be symptomatic one ear. And I thought I wouldn't give up that easily. I really asked the Turku specialists for help, Rama specialists in Pori ear from specialists. I went on site and so on. That was when I was in TVO. And from there I got big money help too. But no, not so of any kind. Then I also received another ear TM tinnitus removal treatment, which no longer just took it destroyed. After effects of the ear whisper a little away. I found it a little impressive and helpful. The device sent to the ear like sonar pulses. That's where I got my first hint of it. Getting around works. The same idea as put in the destruction of kidney stones, the sound of energy and shocks there. So it also breaks it down with lime flaking out there. Then when I also heard Greenhead's mechanisms, which in turn destroys the eye and its sensory cells, I began to realize the direct connections between things. I wanted to make you a video like this. This can be said, it relies on these tips, hints. There was, among other things, such a hint was given different head tilt positions, that there was a certain time in a certain position, that this type of treatment was given. It was said that in some situations it might work, but that reason was precisely that it has. So to speak, so this formation there in the ear muscle like a place where it would not bother so much. And it wasn't, but for all in all, it wasn't drastic enough. It didn't help in my case, for example. At all. I had to develop a more efficient one, a more dynamic, more aggressive way of doing this. One could say against hellish a disease. I am now the first results. Here I got results from this activity and I was positively surprised by their effectiveness, and I thought, so no good time though, that I need once again to people more broadly. If once doctors can't help, then yes, Arto must know how to give people the kind of advice that has worked for me. Here then come these. Inject the spread. I know that there are millions of these people in the world who are symptomatic of this disease and have problems. So this is just a little bit of it. With parents. This struck me when I was 25 years old. Not that it still always affects it. I hope these are helpful and so end mine. In line with style, so I push these forward anyway and try to help and tell people all the time. These are based on technology, knowledge and understanding of physics. These are exactly what is then still a component of this. This feels impressive as well. Widely in the human body, which was surprising but absolutely live now when you do these business series. Show tilt motion sets. It feels opening plaques in many other ducts as well. The eye, kidneys, pancreas and many other such fluid blisters. With people. I noticed such a fact. For example, suddenly the need to urinate rose quite enormously. I then added this as an effect, then another. I also use too many foods containing lime like this. For example, this banana. I took it off. By way of trial, and then I added that to this. I put that on. I also took dairy products. Some of the dairy products I use off. Now, at the same time, I'm also trying to reduce my own use of lime in my body. And all these together. And besides, I use this beta circ actively helps all the time. In fact, still double the power. The impact has been really positive and confusingly functional. And let's move on. Now, I'm trying to demo to you quite simply this premise. What I guarantee you here. This is suitable, for example. Let's say evening gym pretty well. I've already destroyed this right ear, so I know what I'm talking about here. In this case, and I am now, after thinking, pondering and developing such a simple technique, what I would like is that people would start trying and realize that there are so-called, this can be said, this is an eye-ear exercise. But at the same time, all these ducts throughout the body, what a person has, belong to this same system. So at the same time comes comprehensive such pre-treatment system, which have their own systems. The idea here is that they are in the ear. Why are those muscles said? Otolite lime precipitates movements can even be felt. They even know themselves there, how they move. There at the bottom of the clam, in certain circumstances, just like these kidney stones and such too, they physically really can feel when they move inside. The idea is when they are in the liquid, they fall heavier all the way down by gravity to the bottom. This fact is exploited in this case. I will show you very simply now these business kits, basically starting from such a position. Now there the lime deposits inside the muscle of the ear fall here in the direction of the occiput. There is no need to be here other than a minute. When you feel it when the material is out there, you directly feel when that movement has taken place. Now let's get started. First we go to the left. The aim is to place the head with a strong movement in this way to a certain position. I hope it is passed on to you. A bit like over the next put in there approximately, especially when starting this. Movement can also be enhanced in this way by nodding the head a few times in this way. Then wait a minute, a couple, if there is a precipitate. Yes, you already know how it flows here. Ear clam here upside down. Let's have some time. Not very long. It usually feels how the plaque flows and moves. And even if you did not feel it, it still moves there. Then take another position. With a fairly fast motion we go back to this initial state like this. Again, it is known for its vague movement within. Let's wait again for a while. Then take the next series of movements. Even at this point, the head can be slightly nodded in this way. Decide to allow moving fluids to flesh substances. The aim here is to mechanically mix that lime precipitate back into the liquids, and to break it up fluffier and more mobile. Then get up, and again tweak your head a little. That causes the movements of fluids to occur. Expect here. Position for a short time. Now those lime deposits are moving downwards. It now has to make an all-consuming move, from also mix with body fluids. As it precipitates, it also begins to slowly take on a soluble form. Above all, at the same time, its movements will open ducts own liquid drainage ducts. Clogged slag on them, grinding the little ones with each other grains each other, and position for a short time. Now those lime deposits are moving downwards. It now has to make an all-consuming move, from also mix with body fluids. As it precipitates, it also begins to slowly take on a soluble form. Above all, at the same time, its movements will open ducts own liquid drainage ducts. Clogged slag on them, grinding the little ones with each other grains each other, and in motion activates whole body fluid circulation systems. That's what you really have to do on the go. Then let's move on again. In the next step we go a little over the necks again. And let's start again, and again you can nod like this. That's right, those body fluid pathways move. Waiting, it may not take very long here, and you often feel it, if there is already nodded. Again, the lime plaque is expected to flow downwards. Here we try to get those points, at least 3 to 4 different sides of the corner points, so that the precipitates have to go to completely different places. Here is what is very important about what is being sought. Again, the series of movements is start over. Again, let's go over the necks in this position. The head is nodded like this, and again, that precipitate has to move there, increasingly mixing back with cavity fluids. The body fluid drainage systems out there at the same time are finally being given more opportunities to act as well. Such a simple series of movements is repeated a few times. This is good when we go to sleep. Now that we go to sleep on this, the plaques are already in their plucked state. It no longer packs properly, not as if concreted inside during the night, when a person moves less. This is one of the most important things here. The muscle nerves get a little more oxygen. Plaque also oxidizes and gets better broken down there. Above all, white blood cells in the body cavity fluids. This is how it is given more surface area and opportunities to gnaw away at that problematic substance. Now that this has been repeated a few times, such series of movements for a few days, it is noticed how, especially at the beginning, they feel their plaques, the slag movements there. But when they get mixed up, it precipitates and gets confused there. Such knowledge also begins to fade away. That's the point. At the same time, it tells you how the business series made here have worked. Notice now, this is in addition to holistic health care system. It doesn't cost much effort, nor much time, but it's really worth thinking about. Notice how this works to the whole human body, to all more or less closed fluid chamber system in my body. Whole body with regard to, get to your feet. Man has a surprising number of such fluid chambers. In the eye, too, is basically. Each eye has at least 2 separate fluid chambers. There are already 4 different chambers in both eyes, the lens and the eyeball itself. Liquid chamber. Where does that dreaded cataract form as well? Indeed, these can be treated. It is precisely this kind of loosening, nodding and the like I showed. They can be used to intensify and chop even harden plaque more slowly and activate areas. I thought I'd put it on because this is really such an important thing. I am discussions about these things in Puri, Rama and also Turku. These year specialist doctors work with these matters. When I had an acute situation in my ear, they directly said they have no workable solution to this Meniere disease. Not even a decent reason for modeling I was really given, but a pill called Betacerc. It was said to increase the blood flow to the inner ear somewhat. This increased blood circulation then take this lymph fluid a little more effectively away. I, too, constantly use pills as an enhancer. Me too. I discussed this topic with Arto Lauri. He told how to get certain foods involved. I watched YLE Stromsu yesterday. It talked about chokeberry berry, planted with acres of chokeberry bushes in the fields. This chokeberry has such a property. It is active lime interceptor. The use of aronia is also likely to reduce such excess lime precipitation. By it out of the body. It also has its problems, because it also affects bone lime. It's the kind of balance, Oli said in their experience. A longer-lasting fluid fasting system also helps to drive waste products out of the body. But it is not enough just to drive these slags away and move them. But in particular, it must be precisely activated those slag score, by rubbing those slags open first, so that they are given the opportunity to move away at all. Because such a stuck plaque at the bottom of the eye is no longer easily agreed to leave. Or wherever. At the bottom of the muscle, and in places like this. That's what I was thinking now to save for you. This too is really extreme for everyone. Important thing to be aware of. It is precisely people who need to be aware of such things. After all, as is well known, doctors can't even talk about anything. As they say, pill manufacturers and all responsible. Surprisingly, these are completely silent. I am none of these heard. The only thing I heard was said about this. As far as I got this idea, then there is such a technique, where the head slow tilting is intended to drive this otite decay. Why, it was said in it now. In any case the ear muscle, but to such a point, where they did not always lie on the sensory cells, and would stifle their important activities, blocking their functions. It is understood when there are these cells of the auditory sense, and if they can no longer properly move their shellfish indoors, when they have a plaque deposit in between. Such is one of the key elements of old age is poor hearing. When the cells do not no longer get proper oxygen there, they're just starting to choke, and the weight of the plaque pushes the senses broken. I've been here right now in the right ear just like that. I know such problems are really big and serious for people. Egregious. It affects both hearing that even balance the body. To all of these. Such and let's move on.